Hi, I'm Kat.
And I'm Gabe.
And we're
The Ghouls Next Door.
Yeah.
That was pretty good.
Yeah, we harmonize.
Look at us. Look at us
Wow. In space, not gonna hear us scream, but in the radio worlds, you heard us sing.
In unison.
It was beautiful.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So welcome. It is our 56th episode. And today we are talking about isolation in outer space.
We're talking about isolation?
Space.
What? Since when were you doing that?
But more importantly, it's in outer space. Space.
Yes.
Because it echoes and no one can hear you scream. It's just forever in nothingness.
It doesn't echo. There's nothing to echo.
I've decided in my
stops.
brain that it echoes.
That's the opposite of what it does.
I understand there is no science to back me up. I'm just saying.
That's your emotions?
I've never been to space. So, like, in my brain.
Honestly, it could be anything.
Until proven otherwise, that's what it is.
Okay.
So, I'm not going up there. So, I'm never going to know the real truth.
Okay. Well, now you sound like a flat earther.
Oh, no, but I know. Okay. All right. You got me there. It doesn't echo science. Yes. All right. So the ghouls have one major goal throughout this series, if you haven't noticed, and that is that we want you to understand that nowhere is safe.
Nowhere. Not in your house.
Not outside your house.
Not under the water.
Not under the ground.
Not up in the air. As much up in the air as you can be outside of the air. Away from the air here. Away from air.
Yeah, so nowhere is safe. And when we say nowhere, this includes the endless nothingness of outer space. There's lots of stuff in outer space, but like in this context, what's scary is if like you're chilling up there and then like you're not on a planet. You're not on one of the little spinny guys. You are floating outside of that.
Yeah.
Aimlessly. So what space lacks in breathable air or gravity, it makes up for in projectile space debris, spiraling darkness, and aliens, maybe.
Yes.
So that's fun.
So there's fun to be had in space.
Yeah. There's lots of ways you can die.
Lots of ways you can just be real lonely, like.
And you're just so little up there. Like, you're the tiniest little speck in the giantness of space. And like, even if like you were like floating about and you happen to like get caught in the gravity of a planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want that because you're not in a spaceship. So like, you're going to burn up and die. There's no good.
There's no good.
You're not made to be up there. You're meant to be here.
Yeah.
So when you go up there, so there's even places on here that you're not meant to be, but
like tall mountains.
Or underground or underwater. Honestly,
we're just not made to exist. It's kind of like a miracle every day.
Yeah. We probably should be dead by now. I don't know.
That's what I've learned.
Yeah. So basically, you go up there and it's just as bad, if not worse, because we're not biologically meant to be up there. We can't breathe space air. There's no air. It is just ice and cold and spiraling nothingness, and it's scary. So,
what is your experience with space?
You know, I've been to the moon 5 times. And I gotta say, it's a dark.
What's your sign?
Like my astrological sign?
Yeah,
a Gemini, which I think honestly does kind of explain a lot of
like
my personality.
What's your rising sign?
I don't remember. We did that. Yeah. We went to the Tasty Toast Diner and learned all about that.
Learned our signs. Here's your sign. I think I'm like a rising Cancer, and whatever the opposite of that is, Gemini.
Something Aquarius was happening in mine.
Yeah, I don't know that.
Or Aries, something rising, falling. Aries or
stars.
Aquarius.
That's important, apparently.
Stars?
Yeah, because it's like where you're born. The stars are in a place.
Oh yeah, because I was like, I was born in San Diego. All I'm saying is, I've never been to space, even though I just said I was, so I lied to you.
But you are a space case. I will can confirm.
I live in my mind. And one could arguably say that is the most dangerous form of isolation.
No, okay. All right.
When you're in space, that's the thing that can get you the most.
Yeah.
Sadness.
Did you ever want to go to space?
No.
Yeah.
Like genuinely, like they were like, kids were like astronauts or they want to be astronauts. I was like, That sounds hard. No, like not even just hard, just like we don't know. That's scary. We don't know what's up there. Why do you want to go there? It's like people who want to go on boats. Why? I don't understand.
It's different.
Why do you want to be all up in that space? I don't is the answer.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't have any dreams of being an astronaut. I used to tell people I wanted to be a ninja or an assassin / international spy.
Usual jobs of children.
Yeah.
I didn't want to do space because I thought it was kind of boring. Like, I didn't really like science. But
Yeah.
I did do this like report where it was like, what would have to happen to make planets inhabitable? And I picked Neptune because I thought it looked pretty. And then
You can't live there, probably.
you can't. It was pretty
a
much
bad
just
time.
like you'd have to be in a dome and where you change everything for
Yeah.
people to be there. And that's what we learned. But that was the only thing that was like middle school. I always thought stars were pretty. I never had I don't think that the moon landing is a hoax. I'm gonna go with that because it would be way more trouble to make a hoax than actually to put us out there. So yeah, I don't like 2001: A Space Odyssey as a film person. So that's kind of like, but Alien was fun. I had fun, and that's kind of
I
like
like
what.
aliens, but I was never like, I want to go out there. If they come here, that's totally cool. We'll be friends. Or if they don't eat us and murder us and give us their space diseases. But like,
Inevitable.
I'm just saying, I'm not trying to like find it though.
Yeah.
So in my research, there was a really ridiculously, almost like scary fun fact about when Neil Armstrong was the first man to land on the moon, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
He'll put his foot on it.
Yeah, cool. So he gets up there and there's like 2 minutes of lost voice footage, apparently.
Yeah.
And like apparently there are sources that say that this is actually what happened, but he like has not talked about it since. Because apparently America's real hush
Because
hush
aliens.
on
Okay, what is it that he said?
So he gets up there and he's like, there's other spaceships here. They're watching us or something. It was like, there's another spacecraft here. It's amazing. They're watching us. They're watching us like land, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds crazy.
It does sound crazy, but it was in a YouTube video I watched. And that's a fun fact about YouTube.
Here's a fun fact from... I'm pretty sure this is not real, but if it is, it's funny. Where it was like Neil Armstrong, where like he would say fun facts or like experiences from the moon, and then when people would just look at him, he'd be like, "Ah, you had to be there." It's like no one's there. It's just him.
He said they were watching him, so
Yeah,
and then he was
but
told to
it's
go
fun.
hush hush.
Okay, that's cray.
Facts. We tell you facts. All the facts. Here facts. Still facts. About that spooky stuff. Yeah, spooky stuff.
So space. I just need some space right now.
Let's go up in a spaceship and run away from all the people.
Don't do that.
But be
Sounds
together in
awful.
that small little box forever. Drifting endlessly. Love.
You're so creepy, and no one knows that this is what you are.
It's great. It makes me happy.
So
I like to creep you out. It's fun.
So according to NASA, there's 5 things that are hazardous in space flight that could cause your death.
Tell me about it, Stead.
So the 5 hazards that you will encounter if you're in space. Number 1 is radiation.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So space radiation is very dangerous because it is invisible. You don't know that it's happening to you. And then you're all baked.
You can come back and none of your parts work.
Yeah. Yes.
It's like a very serious, sad thing. But yes, it is a real thing where, yeah,
Yeah.
you get all radiated and you come back and then you find out you have like problems.
Yeah, it's very dangerous. It makes you think of Annihilation a little bit. The number 2, which is I think is interesting that it's number 2 listed here in NASA, is isolation and confinement, which is what we're going to dive in more in depth for Cat's section.
Yes.
But essentially, if you were stuck on a ship and you were squished together with people. These are your professional equals, but we listen. We have coworkers. We all have coworkers, and we love them dearly, and some of them we loathed. Imagine you are in like your home, and you have the rest of your coworkers who are also in your home there with you. Also, the food sucks. The food is dried up, fake people toy food, and you're stuck there with your least favorite coworker who's right there in confined space with you. You're bound to go a little crazy.
Yeah, or just be like generally like unhappy.
Yes. Well, and it's like if you were not like a really focused adult person who's just like, I'm doing my job. Like even that's going to grind on you, right? You can't have really any like aspirations.
Well, yeah, it's like it makes you lose your motivation. Like you're not like excited to do your job because it's the same thing or I'm not saying this is what happens to all astronauts.
Yeah.
But like this can happen if you're just doing the same thing every single day and you're not having like exciting food or like anything different. Like the things that were luxuries essentially from being a basic human on planet Earth. You no longer have those.
Yeah.
You
or
have
even just like
the small limited
a sunrise.
things.
Like you don't have like a concept of day. You know, so like even if like what you're seeing, like if you're isolated underground, right, and you can't tell what time of day, it just throws off your entire, like your body just isn't built for that. So if you're up in space, you're doing that. You're not like you're getting nutrition, sure, but like it isn't satisfying anything.
It's not necessarily fresh food either.
Yeah, and honestly, even if it's like someone that you just even mildly don't enjoy, like it's exacerbated by being stuck with that person in such an enclosed space. And it just like drives you crazy. You kind of feel alone. And it's monotonous after a while, unfortunately. But I mean, they try to do things. They try to spice it up. They do some fun stuff now on the ISS. Number 3 is distance from Earth. So when you're in space, that's really far away.
Yeah.
That's very far. That's not like, oh, I got a flat tire. Can you please pick me up, tow truck? Or, oh, I'm under the water just waiting for a boat to come by.
It's like you're dead now.
Yeah, you're just
There's
out
no
there.
backup.
Yeah, there's no one coming. Like once these people are done, who do you have? You don't. So if you're out there, anything goes wrong, you don't get a rescue mission. It also takes a very long time for resources to get to you as well. And there's really no telling what the resources when they get to you are going to find, like what condition people are going to be in if it's something drastic, right? It's just, yeah, like you think about, you see those films all the time where it's like, where they're going to do like intense space travel for like years, like light years or whatever. And it's just this idea that like they're going to be in like cryogenic sleep. And then it's essentially going to be like their children's children who will really get an opportunity to do things in the new world.
They'll never actually get to like their world is gone.
Yeah.
You have to have people who like don't really have a lot of connections to other people in this situation.
Yeah, and that like you're sacrificing your life if you're doing that kind of travel, right? If we ever get to that, you're sacrificing your life to like give a new life. Yeah. Like cuz there is no planet B.
Yeah.
It was
as much as we like to act like there is.
Yeah. It was Earth Day the other day, so think about it. Number 4 is gravity, or well, the lack of that. There is none. That's the whole thing.
Yep.
There's no gravity. So that does stuff to your bones and your muscles and to your brain and your body altogether. It's
atrophy.
It is designed to be on Earth where we have gravity we're constantly fighting against. So our muscles are always being used, even if you don't think it. Flat earthers. And in space, you don't have that. So your muscles weaken and your body just isn't used to that. So coming back is really difficult to like reacclimate to the conditions of what
because you're not used to gravity anymore. And like the biggest thing is like astronauts will like exercise at least 2 hours a day every day because like they need to maintain some sort of muscle mass, but like losing muscle and like the shaping of your bones is guaranteed.
Yeah.
Like that's just something you have signed up for now.
Yeah, I think
least
they
that's what
said
I
they
read.
had like osteoporosis, and the thing is, like, we really haven't been traveling in space for a long enough time to know fully the effects, and we haven't had people hanging out there as much. Like, we can assume and we can predict based on what we're seeing from people coming back, but having people out there for a prolonged amount of time, we don't really have anything to go off of like solid evidence because it's still pretty new.
As much as we want xenon to exist, it hasn't. It's not real. That's not a thing that happened.
Gorilla, the 21st, it's 21st century. We're
Zoom,
here.
zoom, zoom.
Make my heart go boom, boom.
My supernova girl. It's
Yeah.
a great movie. But that's not real. So here we are.
Yeah. So number 5 is hostile and closed environments. So you're not on a planet when you're in space. Usually,
What?
you're not going to be like, the moon doesn't have trees and plants in the world and gravity in the way that we need it to be. And when you're on a spaceship, that's not a planet. That's not a habitat. That's not a place for people. It is a cage. It is a vehicle you're just driving around in. It is it's not designed for prolonged living yourself in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, you know how cramped up you feel when you're driving? Like if you do a long distance trip,
Yeah.
you're just driving for several hours. Mm-hmm. As someone who's done many 9+ hour trips throughout my life, it's the worst.
Yeah. And your legs just hurt. Like you have to stretch and all that stuff. And it's like, imagine if just gravity wasn't a thing.
No.
It's just like there's a lot of stuff. And what's interesting is I don't know if it's a thing. It's just like where they can add the gravity in to the spaceship. Is that real? Because that's in a lot of movies, and I don't know if it's real.
I think
Do they just float up around up there?
They do
always?
float. I don't know if there's a way to make gravity. I'm not knowledgeable in that. and
Okay,
I'm sorry.
I was just curious.
I'm sorry to let you down. Well, so those are like the 5 main things that happen when you're out in space to be worried about that NASA acknowledges. Like, this is dangerous. Beware. Another big danger. So we have the spaceship that's protecting you, and God forbid anything happens, right?
Yeah.
But also, like, you can't just like frolic around naked up in space because
What?
you can't do it. You have to wear clothes, specifically a spacesuit. Because you know what happens, Kat, when you're in space without a spacesuit?
Tell me.
I'm going to tell you. This is from Business Insider, and it is how long how long someone can survive in outer space without a spacesuit. It's a very weird link. However, here's what they said. 1, if you are out in space without a spacesuit, you know what you should do?
What?
You should not hold your breath.
That was confusing.
I know. That's what this says.
Don't hold your breath.
Yeah. You know why? Because the vacuum of space will pull the air from your body.
Ah,
So if there's air left in your lungs, they will rupture.
lovely.
Yeah. Oxygen in the rest of your body will also expand. You'll
Cool.
balloon up to twice your normal size, but you won't explode.
Oh, good.
Your skin is elastic enough to hold you together.
Nice.
Any exposed liquid on your body will begin to vaporize. Woo!
That sounds fun.
So the surface of your tongue and your eyes will boil.
Wow.
Without air in your lungs, blood will stop sending oxygen to your brain, and you'll
Dope.
pass out in about 15 seconds.
That's a nice amount of time to quickly pass out.
Thank God for small miracles. 90 seconds after exposure, you'll die from asphyxiation. Thank you again.
Yeah, I mean, if my eyes are boiling on my body, I feel like that's a pretty nice, quick way to go.
Fun fact, it's also very cold in space. You'll eventually freeze solid. And then, depending on where you are in space, this will take about 12 to 26 hours. But if you're close to a star, you'll be burned to a crisp.
Excellent.
So either freeze to death or burn to a crisp. Either way, your body will remain that way for a very long time. Until gut bacteria, you heard that correct, gut bacteria, bacteria in your guts,
Nice.
will start to eat you from the inside out. But not for very long. So you will decompose very slowly.
Cool.
You could be floating in space unchanged for millions of years. And who knows? Maybe an advanced alien race will discover you.
It's my dreams. It's just what you want, guys.
You just are.
Go out in space and just be like stripping for the aliens. Take your clothes off real slow. So you got to be careful because, like, once you do your arm, you want to do your arms probably second to last to your head. No.
Wait, what?
Because you got like 15 seconds.
So it's the fastest striptease that ever was.
Yeah, it's not
It's
a
going to be
tease.
hot for all of 3 seconds.
It's just a
It's
strip.
a strip. Period. Death.
Get breakaway pants.
In space.
Breakaway spacesuit.
And then you reveal your diaper to the world. The aliens are really into this for some reason. But what really gets them going is the fact that your body expands and blows up like a balloon.
We love
while
that.
your eyes and your tongue are just like disintegrating. Not to mention you're really cold.
Yeah.
It's just a pleasurable experience all
It's
around.
a really like fun, confusing contrast that your eyes and your tongue will boil.
Yeah.
But then everything's really cold. So what? But apparently that's
But space
what it
is fun. Let's keep putting people up there. This is fun.
Yeah.
So
I think we should just stop messing up this planet. Cause yeah.
we can't do it, man. We don't have enough spacesuits for everyone up there because there was supposed to be an all-female crew to Mars. That was the plan. And the reason why it was all females, one, they knew it had to be all one gender because they didn't want there to even remotely be a chance that there would be sexual intercourse that could result in pregnancy. There could be gay sex, there could be lesbian sex. That's fine because you're not getting pregnant, and it's fine. But we don't know what would happen to a baby in space, and we're not ready to conduct that experiment. It's not ethical in any way. So they were like, all right, and then they settled on all women crew because they thought, well, women are a little better about, like, if you're out there in space for a prolonged period of time, they won't have any issues getting along and respecting authority amongst each other. We just happen to work together a little better.
Despite the long assumed thing that
We're just bickering.
we'll get our time and murder each other.
Yep.
That's not what happens.
That's not gonna happen.
Generally operate very peacefully.
Yeah, we're
with
pretty
other
decent.
people.
And so scientists have discovered that and have concluded that. So they had a whole team of women getting ready. They were so ready, Kat. They were like geared up. They did all the science. They did all the exercising. They were prepared mentally, physically. They're going to go to Mars. We're going to do this. We're going to make this happen. And then it's like a week before we're about to launch. And they go, hold on. We don't have the proper size spacesuits for tiny women. We're only built for men. So stop. And it's like, why can't we make them? Why can't
Yeah, that's where I'm like really
can't we,
confused because
like,
it's like then make
can we
ones
alter
that
them?
do fit.
like I don't know. But
I don't
that
think
was
that's a reason to just not do it.
that was the reason it was floating around. And now there's not women floating around in space to get to Mars. So
But people do go to space, and that's a thing. So we've been trying, or now I say, as if I have been a part of the effort. I have been talking with NASA, let me tell you. And we've been working real hard on making sure that people feel less isolated in space.
that's nice.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of side work for the Ghouls. I didn't tell you. But yeah, so
Do not go to space. You can't even do stuff here.
you know,
I'm just
maybe
trying
they'll
to be
give me
real.
cool robot parts, and I'll be a robot in space, and it'll be like the Love, Death, and Robots. But
They can't afford a suit.
That's
They can't make a
true.
suit for a woman. They're not
Let
going to
alone
make you
me
robot
animatronic.
lungs.
All right, fine. Well, they can't explode if they're robotic. Gabe.
No, why don't you tell NASA?
But yeah, so in real world things, NASA has been attempting to conquer the challenge of isolation in space through their human research program. And essentially what they've been doing is trying to figure out a way to make like being up in a tiny box in the vast nothingness of space less depressing. So they're working on better living conditions, ways to like when they select astronauts, they try to really make sure that those people are the most emotionally resilient people so that they're not going up there with like,
So you probably kind of
I'm gonna
want
go
like
kill
a
people.
sociopath.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you wouldn't want someone who's especially emotional or like
empathetic,
reactive.
yeah.
You would want someone who's a little more robotic.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're trying to come up with ways to like make it more comfortable up there. So, and like ways to really analyze like the dangers of space and how to combat those. So like if you have like radiation and you have like the effects of gravity or the lack thereof, and they're trying to like find ways to combat that so that longer space travel can be a thing. So essentially they've been starting, as you said, to do the Mars selectees.
Mm-hmm.
And what's been really tough about that is one, that they're like being way more selective about who they choose to go to Mars.
Yeah.
But then also they are still working out how to like make sure that everything that they're sending up there is like top quality, that they know how to like be their own plumbers, that they know how to like fix everything on the spaceship, because like quality of life is a big component of like such a long journey in a tiny box. Astronauts specifically, because of the fact that they're, if not isolated by themselves up in space, they're with like one or two other people, maybe just like a small team, and that's like the only people that they end up interacting with for extended periods of
They
time.
better be chill.
And I mean, one way that they help combat that is that they have somewhat frequent radio communications with like I think they call it Houston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Houston, we have a problem.
Yeah, so Houston, they'll try to like have
Tallahassee.
people from Earth like actively communicating with the people on the space station to make sure that like they still have those like connections, know what's happening. You don't feel like that disconnect from your home. Trying to like improve the quality of like food and like basically just general living conditions so that it's a little less isolating, but then also just like the natural things that would depress people because they're not in their regular space. It's like people get sad like moving to a place that rains more. Like we're very sensitive.
Yeah,
as
it's just
people.
in the winter we're all together sad with one another. And you're like, yeah, if you're trapped in there with other people, like whatever their mood is going to affect you in some way.
Yeah, and they got to make it kind of nice. So I actually read that what they do to prepare astronauts for the long journey of space is that they'll go on expeditions on Earth with fellow astronauts for long durations where they get used to this notion that the most important people right now are the few people who they're with. And they go down in the oceans to, where does it get? They go down in the ocean basically on Nemo, which is a space analog mission.
It's a little fish. It's a
but it's an
clownfish.
undersea research station, essentially.
Yeah.
So they do the opposite scary thing of the dark mystery place.
Yeah, they do the one we have here, which we're also not designed to be in. Like, if you're in a submarine, it's just like if you were in a spaceship. If one thing goes wrong and the water comes in there, or like the pressure gets too much, boom, you're dead. So...
yeah, just like
stop?
really chill stuff.
Yeah.
Eyes boiling,
So
lungs
fun.
rupturing. It's
Yay.
totally cool, guys. But yeah, so it's like sad sometimes. And they're trying to combat it
Yeah.
with like positive stuff to make
Yeah.
it just like,
Not just sending them in there blind.
yeah.
That's nice.
Like but they said that the astronauts that are like on a mission for Mars in 2015, they were talking about like the size of the thing. It's roughly the interior of a 17-foot long moving truck is the size of the space that they would be living in together.
That's so small.
Just think like, honestly, like your least favorite coworker, you are that close to them
Yeah.
every day for like maybe years.
That's definitely another reason why you can't have male and female on there. Could you imagine if you had like one
There would be murder.
chauvinistic
There would
man?
be straight up murder.
Like you're out there, you're trying to screw in this thing, and he's like, "No, that's not how you do that." It's like,
Excuse
Do you want to
me.
learn what happens if you do not have a spacesuit on in space? Because you're about to find out.
We're not allowed to go to space.
Yeah,
We're not the calm. Well, I'm kind of calm, but you're not the calm one, Gabe.
no,
you don't
murder.
get to go.
There's no way. Could you imagine
don't
if I
get
was
to
next to
go.
someone in space and they were chewing really loudly? Like, hey, can you help me? There's a latch over here. I can't figure. Bye. What happened to Jim? He was the pilot of ours. You know what? Who's up for learning how to pilot? Who's up for getting their pilot's license? Because here we go.
And fun fact: we're in space. There's no back. No one's coming back after Jim. There's no second Jim.
Maybe there's a
You
manual.
have to be Jim now.
You're the new Jim.
Karen.
The new Jim. Look at me. I'm the Jim now.
I am Jim.
Yeah, there's no way. Also, I just don't have any applicable skills. What do I do up there? Be funny? I'm the entertainment. That'd be terrible. But it's like, I wouldn't even... There's, like, what would I do? Like, it would have to have been an accident. Like, I thought I was getting on, like, one of the SEPTA buses. And then I ended up...
How do you end up in space?
Who knows? Listen, stranger things have happened. Okay? Stranger
I
things
need you
in
to tell
space.
me those stories because I've missed those.
Well, we
don't
don't have
think-
time. We're all out of time for this one.
Okay.
Films. Yeah, films. Yeah, films. We watched some films. Now let's talk about those films. And all that spooky stuff. And all that spooky stuff.
Why are we in here? This is awful. Like, you signed up for this.
Don't open it. We'll die.
You did months of training before you got here, and we've been here for 10 minutes.
That was another dimension me.
This me doesn't know why she's here, and she's very upset. And she's gonna open this door, and we just need some air.
The
Really
other
quick.
me is on Earth.
I just need a new breath of fresh air. If I could
It's
just
not air.
open this hatch, please.
There's no air.
I would be dead.
Yeah, and then you'd murder everybody. It'd be bad.
I would do like a suicide. So we watched stuff.
On that note,
We watched some
Jesus.
things.
Yeah, all right.
Besides the fact that I just wouldn't. Space is not a place for Gabe. No, in no way. Or Cat. I think out of all the places, like, it would suck, right? All these other places would suck.
Yeah.
But we could in some way make it out, right? Like, underground, we would have made it. Underwater.
Okay. You say we're going to make it, so I'm just going to agree with
Yeah,
you.
I think we could. Like, I think, like,
If we were teamwork in it,
yeah.
you're not leaving me there.
No.
I'm your last grip to sanity.
Yes. Inside, all that. Like, we would be fine. But space,
Yeah.
both of us, there's no way. Like, we're just not fit for that.
Yeah.
Like, both physically and mentally.
yeah.
In any way that you could be good in space, we're not.
Our bodies aren't made for it. Our minds aren't made for it.
We're barely
we
made for here.
If we got combined into one person and maybe both of our knees improved slightly, we might be chill. Because, like,
If we
I'm
got
pretty chill.
If we were combined into one person and then another more physically abled person was also combined to us.
Yeah.
Then we're
we'd be
good.
set. That's why I'm saying make us robots. All right.
Okay.
We watched Gravity.
We watched Gravity.
We sure did.
With-
It was made in 2013. Two astronauts work together to survive after an accident leaves them stranded in space. Space.
And George Clooney. Fun fact, Gabe gets Sandra Bullock and Julia Roberts mixed up. I can't tell you wwhy.
They are so different.
I
looking.
understand this and I hear this every single time, but you can't, like, I can't put them in the same room for me. Someone just put, if someone has connections to Sandra Bullock and Julia Roberts, can you please, like, contact me? We'll all get together. We'll be friends. But I can't for the life of me figure out which one's which. One of them is in this movie. One of those women is
It's
there.
not one.
One of those is
Sandra
here.
Bullock is in this movie.
She's there. And you see her legs
With
a
George
lot.
Clooney.
With George Clooney. He was great. It was interesting because he was still, like, charming, but he's also, like, in a giant suit. So it's like he was just working on wit alone, which
Yeah.
is nice. And he was, like, playing like a normal person,
Yeah.
telling stories, being cool.
Yeah.
It did though feel like if it was like it just feel like George Clooney in space.
I completely agree. I was just like,
oh,
hey,
no.
George Clooney's up here.
Yeah, what is he doing? So this movie is really beautiful. It also, when I first watched it, I watched it in theaters, probably like IMAX or something, because I'm awful to myself. And the whole movie is like, because it's space, it's like silent and stuff. But the whole movie is really just Sandra Bullock hyperventilating, reasonably so.
Yeah.
And it's super triggering for anyone who has anxiety and empathy. Because I was like, can you breathe for a second? You're hurting us. Can you just like, Jake, can you please calm down? Why are you doing this to us? I'm not even in space. Can you please help me? Sandra, get it together. I'm dying. I'm not Julie Roberts. It was just funny.
I'll stop when you know who I am.
I knew it. Oh, this makes sense. So I was like, kind of, the first time I watched it, I was like a little dizzy because I couldn't breathe. But it was like, it's so scary in this very raw form, right? Because it's just, stuff happens. There's debris because of the Russian space station.
Projectile debris.
Yes. It's in the space.
It's coming all around town and messing up your day.
Yeah, it came around and it just messes everything up.
And murders a bunch of things.
Yeah, and then she's like swinging around. It's really cool in 3D because she's like, everything's coming at you and stuff. But she's swinging around and then she unhooks herself from the one thing that was like keeping her together. And it flings her off into space. And it's like the worst thing that could, and it's like 20 minutes of her hyperventilating while she's like spinning around.
Yeah, because she like can't get her bearings. She has no idea what's happening. She
and
can't
he's
even,
like, tell me where you are. And she's like, I'm in space. First off, I'm in space.
This just in. I'm in space. I'm spinning into the endless nothingness of space. This is Sandra Bullock, not Julia Roberts, spinning through space forever.
George, listen. George, listen, you beautiful man. I see stars. Does that help? I don't know which one it is. Maybe it's the bear one. What are the stars? Is Dipper's over there? I don't know. Okay, there's like the guy who has. I can't even tell you that when I'm on Earth. I couldn't tell you what constellation it is. And he's like, "What?" He's like, "Where are you?" I was like, "In darkness." What do you mean? Where am I?
You were there, yes.
I'm spinning. Me and Sandra had a connection at that point. Okay, we were both dying.
I don't even know who she is.
At that moment, I understood her on levels that I've never understood anyone else.
Oh wow!
Eventually, she does slow down and she does work to get it together.
Yeah.
But the whole time it's just her like this woman who's not supposed to be in space. Like she shouldn't have been there. Cause she even admits like she failed the one test like every single time. She never got it right. And it's like, why you let anyone who fails go up here? Like
because she was like a big scientist, but it's definitely she didn't have like they should have waited probably a minute.
Yes.
For her to be able to go up until she like started
until she
to do
got
better.
It. And the thing is like the logic to me was the same as when, what is it, like Sunshine or whatever, where they, instead of teaching astronauts who are equipped to be in space how to drill, like how to learn how to drill things so they can reanimate the sun or whatever, they instead take a short amount of time to train a bunch of drill people who work on like the big drills in the ocean and just send them to space. And it's like, that is so backwards that it like you just send up the astronauts with like a manual on how to work a drill. You can't physically make these people capable who are just used to just
regular air
wrenches.
And space, like not space.
Yeah, and not like, and then added pressure. It's the entire world is in your hands. Like that's what I don't get. Like I get she's like this super great scientist and she has to be up there. Yada yada yada. It's like, but why is that faster? And then it sucks that she's the only one, you know, that really like.
Yeah, because she wasn't like.
She shouldn't have been there. Honestly, George would have been fine if she hadn't gone flying off. They would have figured it out and they would have gotten to where they need. He wouldn't have wasted his like juice, his little like push spacesuit times. That one guy would have been dead though, because debris just went straight through his head. Because it's fast. It's like a speeding bullet, but it's like debris from a space station coming at you,
trying to murder you.
Yeah.
Your day.
And so the whole journey is her trying to get to different space stations and trying to get home ultimately. But it's very dangerous because you can't just like walk over there. You can't just be like do 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 do.
You sure can't.
Which way are you heading? Oh, just to the Chinese space station down the way. Oh, good. I'm only going to the Russian one, but you can make your way after that.
What's funny is so in the movie they showed them at the same altitude, so that it was like easier for her to see them. But in the real world, they're all at different altitudes.
Yeah, I'm sure.
It way harder to spot from afar. The opening scene from establishing view of Earth to Dr. Stone detaching from the structure is a single continuous shot lasting about 12 and a half minutes.
Yeah,
That's cool.
I love long shots. One of the top ones is Children of Men.
I want to see that movie because I read the book and I really want to see it.
It's got really great cinematography. That's a good one. It's because it's so long. There's just so much happening, and we're just like getting the full expanse of The Expanse, which is also a space show.
Fun fact about the debris situation. So that's not something that's technically, at least from what I researched, happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's based in like something that's a very real possibility. The scenario is known as the Kessler syndrome, named after NASA scientist Donald J. Kessler, who first proposed the theory in 1978, basically saying that an object the size of an International Space Station would trigger a catastrophic chain reaction of debris that would make it like orbit essentially the Earth and make it you're not able to send anything into space for at least like a few decades.
Yeah, I mean there is space debris already. Like there already is trash up there because like anything breaks, it just starts going, but not to the extent that there is, right? Mm-hmm. But already there's like waste up there that it just goes forever. It just circles us forever. Mm-hmm. We're gonna end up with like a ring like Saturn, but of trash. Of broken people and frozen bodies and items. But also interesting about this film was that originally the director wanted Salma Hayek to play Dr. Ryan Stone. Yeah. Which was Sandra's character. I can tell those two apart very well. But the reason why they didn't was that the studio refused, saying that no one would believe a Mexican astronaut.
Which is really rude.
It is
want to say
so
a curse
rude.
word and you can't. It's the worst.
It is. It's so rude.
That's like what? Yes, there can.
Also, it's like
anybody. People.
Yes.
Astronauts. Space.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I would believe Salma Hayek is an astronaut.
Absolutely.
100%.
And it's like, it's even just separating from like Mexican, right? Even if you're saying like Mexican American, like, because that's what she is. She's Mexican American. Like, what are you saying? Because that is different. Because now we're not just being like xenophobic, right? We're not just being like that kind of racist. We're being racist even just like as an American. It's like you could go to the same schools as a white astronaut in America. And because you're brown, we can't. What are you saying?
Yeah.
What is happening here?
You're going around. You're doing films just like Sandra Bullock.
Yeah. What? Like, don't even get my.
What do you mean?
Yeah, that's wild. I mean, I thought it was really great. One, I always have an affinity for women with dude names like myself. So her being Ryan was really nice, and they did that whole thing. Why is Ryan? That's weird. And she's like, "Dad wanted a boy." I hate that answer.
Yeah.
So maybe you just
wanted a cool name.
Yeah. But yeah, so like even there I was like, it's cool that we're centered around a woman, but she was like kind of the worst the whole time.
Well, yeah, she just wasn't prepared to be in space. And I don't think really anyone is necessarily prepared to be in space. Yeah. But like she definitely wasn't emotionally, physically, or otherwise like ready to be up there. And her motivation for like taking this on was because her child died. Yeah. And I'm not saying it's like a bad reason to want to be an astronaut or like go up into space, but like I feel like if you're you shouldn't be running wicked problems. Yeah. And like rushing away from things you know how to do to go do stuff you don't know how to do.
Yeah, it definitely Yeah. And it wasn't like she was there to spice it up because she was just doing it. She was just doing the job. It's like you'd be more prone to the sadness and the depression. And like you have nothing to live for. So if things got bad, you
Yeah,
have
like
nothing to
what's
keep
your
you going.
resiliency
Yeah.
to keep you going?
And she really didn't have. Like, even in the end, I didn't kind of believe.
That she would go back.
Yeah, like, so there's like this whole arc that apparently George Clooney actually wrote in because Alfonso just like couldn't figure out exactly what he wanted to do there, which, listen, we've all been there when you have a script, especially one as beautiful as this. And George actually wrote it. He wrote the scene where his character comes back in. And I remember being in the theater and she's like, so she was going to kill herself because why? Like, it totally made sense to me. Like, she couldn't figure out, she doesn't know how to land. Things weren't working. She's been through so much. So why not just let yourself fade into nothingness by like depleting the oxygen?
Yeah.
And so as she's doing that through this hallucination, the door opens for a second, which she would have instantly been dead. And he comes in and he's like, hey.
Talking her through
he talks her kind of the same way with Gerald's game, where it was like this version of someone telling you something that you already knew in your subconscious.
Yeah.
And using like a story. Like it's a good visual medium to like describe what you would be doing if you were like, how do I get out of this this mess?
Yeah, it was really interesting for sure. And it's I guess the whole thing kind of sucked in the way that George would just he knew what he was doing. Why did he
tried so badly to help
sacrifice himself for it? But I guess it's just because you're trying to be a good person. But yeah, I thought that was really cool that like he wrote that part into the
script. I also thought it was a really cool part. Like it was definitely unbelievable like when it's happening.
I was like, she is hallucinating.
I was like, yeah,
100%. She would be dead.
Especially because we've watched all of these isolation movies and they always hallucinate. Yeah, when you're isolated and you're out there and it's impending death, you are hallucinating. That's pretty much.
It's just like a mind coping mechanism for isolation.
Movie, all but one had hallucinations.
Yeah. I mean, but it's just like a token symptom of what's happening to you. Like
your brain.
Your brain is trying to cope with like feeling like it's shutting down.
Yeah. She doesn't kill herself. She could have, and it would have been fine. Like the way that she did it. But there are rumors that there's different ways to do that.
So there's a long time rumor that claims that NASA provides suicide pills to astronauts for worst case scenarios. NASA has denied this for decades, but some people have said that it would be easier or more comfortable to reduce oxygen in the chamber as depicted in the film. So it's actually like, if that were to happen in space, what Sandra was doing is a realistic way of doing that. Because if you don't have those pills and you're not trying to be up there anymore, then that makes sense.
Yeah, but we also know that it only takes 15 seconds. So let your oxygen out anyway. But yeah, it's like it makes me think of like the whole like Russian, like during the Cold War when they'd have spies and if they got caught, they had like the cyanide pills or whatever. Yeah. Like that. Like if you were out there. But like imagine you just do it prematurely and then George Clooney shows up like, really? I was right here.
I let you live for me.
Yeah, because if Dr. Ryan had suicide pills, she would have been dead like when she was spinning. She would have already been gone the second that she went spin.
How would she even take it though? She can't take her thing off.
It would probably have been like some form that would make it easy for you to get to it.
Lick your chin.
If you can lick your elbow.
I just wanted to.
I want to go.
Yeah, like you can't move your arms inside of there though. So it's like, how are you taking it? There's a screen.
Yeah,
you're hitting yourself
she would
with the
figure
face.
it out. She would, but if she had the option, she would have been done already.
Yeah,
she would. I don't blame her. The second I got up there, I feel like I gotta go. I can't be here. Why am I here? It's like a fish keeps hitting their head against like the glass.
Yeah.
Like, no, don't. Where's Earth? Where's the trees? How I live? I can't.
There's
be
no
here.
situation where you're taken to space against your will. So I'm
Thank
sorry. That's
goodness.
just like
listen, aliens, if you're out there, not me, man, not me. I'm not one of those people who are like, let me dive in and find out what happened to me. I don't just like if you're gonna take me, you need to knock me out, and I need to not remember.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I can't be one of the chosen ones. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. So when Ryan removes her spacesuit in the film, she's only wearing like a tank top and underwear. But in real space, they wear like adult diapers during space walks. So
Yeah.
unrealistic. Put Sandra in a diaper.
That great. Because she's like, there's a lot of scenes of just like her very long legs. She looks great. She was very fit for that.
Yeah, they were saying it was a lot of like life and creation 'cause she's in the fetal position.
Yes.
And
I
there's,
noticed
yeah.
that. She's definitely in the fetal position and it looks like she's like in a
baby.
sack
Yeah.
of fluids for baby times.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like the turn too, because that's when she like calls to him and she's asking him for his location. Like it's definitely a turn for her character.
For true.
Yeah. And then she, at some point she uses like a fire extinguisher to propel herself, but that would not work because it's not something you can really control.
Yeah, so like you would have to do a very specific way, but essentially doing it more than like once would make you spin violently
Yeah.
through space.
Like, yeah, like in the beginning.
It's like,
Yeah. Which is like, it's crazy because, so there's an episode of Love, Death, and Robots, which I can't, it's called Need a Hand.
excellent.
Yeah, which is very punny. Where it's essentially the same movie, but it's an animated short where a woman is working on her ship. She's like Irish or something, and a screw comes loose, and that causes catastrophe and everything, and her to be dislodged from the base. And she's like literally right there. Like, if you were on Earth, you would just walk there. It'd take you 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, but she is in space, so it's not that way. And so in order to try to project herself, push herself, she uses the momentum of pulling off her sleeve of her suit, which exposes her arm, so then it frosts over, and she throws it, which then that force pushes her back towards the station, and she misses. So then she, spoiler alert, it's a short film, just watch it if you care. She rips off her frozen arm, and
Which
then
is also not possible, but this is a
it would've-
cartoon.
yeah. And it would have took longer or so.
Yeah.
And she was running out of air. But she rips off her arm and then she throws it and then she does get where she needs to go. And then the guy's like, "You still need a hand?" Which is fun. It's fun is what that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies out there, but we've watched plenty. We played games,
handfuls. Dead
Space and others.
We did watch Dead Space. It was fun. It was scary.
Yeah. And which was great for the time. I remember it just being all the rage. So if you want to get scared in space, Dead Space is definitely the thing to do that. It's like Silent Hill, but you're in space, so it's also scary. But you also get to play cool like 0G like projection and stuff, which is cool. And there's like conspiracies and you're hallucinating and what's real. It's great. Yeah, so just watch space stuff and just learn from your mistakes, Sandra.
Yeah, feelings. Yeah, I said feelings. Let's talk about feelings. Okay. And all that spooky stuff. I love spooky stuff.
So if you like it, it's 100% Salma Hayek can definitely be an astronaut is totally believable. Duh.
Yes.
How dare you? That's if you like it.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't like it, it's send Gabe to space because
Campaign for Gabe to go to space.
sounds like the word. Why would you do that?
If Salma Hayek can be an astronaut, Gabe, so can you.
Those are different. I'm not in any way Salma Hayek.
I understand that, but you can go to space.
Salma Hayek, not even playing like a character, just Salma Hayek as herself, would fare so much better in space than I would. It's just not. No, I can't. No, I'm
just saying
it
would be believable if you went to space. That's all I'm saying.
It would have to be like a situation where I did something really bad and you're punishing me. Like that's only.
That's not why they send people to space.
I know, but that's the only reason why I would be there. There's no other reason. Okay. Like even if this Earth is dying,
you just stay on the dying Earth.
Yeah, I'm just gonna float this one out, guys. I'll chill here. I'll keep this
Y'all
place
start
chill.
the new life. We'll be here.
Yeah, I'll ride this one out. Me and Earth, we've been OG. She's been here since the beginning. I've been here since my beginning. We, are on somewhat good terms.
Cool.
Gravity is not my friend, but we're working it out. And it's fine. The inevitable heat death of the universe, I welcome it.
All right. So how I feel is Salma can 100% be an astronaut. Rude.
That's how you feel about isolation in space?
Yeah, it's fun. It's like, I don't want to do it, but I'm just saying it's like interesting.
It's interesting.
I enjoyed reading about it and learning about it. Also, like, NASA's cool.
NASA is definitely cool. Totally cool from arm's length away from me. Because, like, for me, it's definitely Gabe in space. Like, it's super interesting. It definitely is. But when I think about all the other places, right? Thinking about all the other isolations, it's like, I can figure it out. All of those, I can figure it out. I'll be fine.
Yeah.
Even underwater, I'd try. Definitely, I'm not saying I would be perfect, but I would fare significantly better than if I were in space. Unless maybe I was like in a submarine.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel about space.
Excellent.
You keep it up there. I need space from space.
Okay, so how you feel about space is how I feel about the ocean. So stop putting your judgments on me.
I'm just saying
Gabe.
the ocean makes a little more sense. It's right here.
No.
Just saying it's here. No. What about for Gravity?
I liked it. I thought it was good. It wasn't like my favorite thing. It was stressful, but like it was entertaining enough. I've seen a lot of other space movies that I enjoyed a little bit more. But that's because there were aliens or like people going crazy. So I mean it's just a different feel. This was scary in the like raw sense, I guess. And like there wasn't any impending threat other than like reality.
Yeah.
But yeah, I generally tend to enjoy the space movies where like something's trying to murder you.
Yeah, I do like space movies where things are happening and it's wacky. I exceptionally like when we send things into space to fix something. Like there's so many movies where it's like explode the sun, nuke the sun, go up to space. We got to go to a new planet. There's a planet that's too close. There's a planet where there's an identical person that's just like you over there, but maybe they didn't make the same mistakes you did, so maybe you can switch places with them.
What movie is that?
It's a really good one. I think it's like The Other World or something. I'll look it up. We'll talk about it for sure. But this one was definitely scary. And I think that's interesting, too, because when you think of like a scary space movie, we think of something like the game Dead Space, or you think about aliens, right?
Yeah.
You think of this other being that's out there attacking you, or even just like people getting corrupted and being crazy and killing you.
Oh yeah, like Prometheus or something.
Yeah, or like Sunshine or whatever. Not Sunshine. Whatever
goes
that one
crazy
was.
and they're going like,
yeah.
The space mind people told
or
me to
robots.
kill you.
Like the robots are doing it to you. Like, or
Killer
you're
robots.
a clone in your moon, which we didn't talk about because it's not really a horror movie. It's more just like, ooh, what's happening? But this was like, this was really legitimately scary to me. Like, and just like in general, because it is, like you said, just like this is what would happen. Like if you were in space and you're flinging around, that's it. Like you're done. There's no happy ending really, like to that, like usually. So I think it's really cool. I enjoyed that film enough to watch it again. And I would say in theaters it was really great because it was built for that. It was built to be surround sound and to be really close up in your face and something big and digestible, which is the same way I felt about like Witch. It doesn't have the same allure and like tension it does as it did in theaters.
I would understand that.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's all the isolation. We can come back into society now. Cool. We're allowed.
Yay.
So to come back into society, what we've decided to do was to go away for a whole month.
Sorry.
So this is our isolation series. We're finishing it up, but now we're going to take a little vacation. So the Ghouls are going to be off for the month of May. We're still going to be around. You can still talk to us, still reach out,
be friends.
Suggest anything to us. We are still live. We're not isolating ourselves. We're just like grouping.
Yeah.
We're just getting our stuff together.
We're just trying to, be our best selves.
Yes.
Live our best lives.
Nobody can stand between you and your desires. And that's the
Or
truth.
between us and ours. So, bye. We're leaving. We'll see you for a month.
Yes. So we'll see you in June, where we're talking about foreign horror films.
Excellent.
So stay tuned. Don't get married.
They'll eat your kids.
Okay, bye.